Hello, this is Peter.
And this is Michaela, and welcome to the Legacy of Kain Defiance Extras.
Wouldn't that be poetic irony? Probably. So here we are as wireframe...
Textureless.
Kain? Sorry, yes. It's not wireframe. That's why you get a wireframe. It's textureless.
The only reason it made me think of it is because when we did Tomb Raider, it has the same mode.
Oh. So yeah, this is one of the cheats. The cheats are very easy to do on PC. Yes, I am being a bit sarcastic. It's a pain in the arse because they all tell you what the cheats are in terms of buttons, like auto face, feed.
Like actions rather than actual buttons.
So they say like lift attack, and it's like, okay, but what button is that? And then you go, oh, well, you can't do it on the controller anyway, you have to do it on the keyboard. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just do it on the keyboard then. Oh, and you have to have the default controls set up. And I'm like, okay, so what are the moves then? Well, it's soul suck and lift attack and I'm TK aim, and I'm like, okay, why are we translating? Why aren't we just telling me what keys to press? So I've translated it into key presses because it's easier. But yes, again, this is the textureless mode, which means that we still have lighting.
Yeah.
And we still have blood.
It's just like almost like a little dev thing.
Ooh. Ooh, nasty.
Cool.
But yes, his pants are astonishingly white in this mode. But yeah, it's just so you can see sort of the game from a slightly different perspective. It's still snowing, it still has a weird door in that, but it's completely textureless.
This is wireframe.
This is the textureless mode. Yeah, it's wireframe. Which is actually much harder to figure out what's... Oh, this is a wall. Also, how come I can see the rest of the level?
It's really cool, because I was going to say, if you swing your camera back left, you see it's got height, so it's like you can see underneath where we were.
That's the starting area. That's really cool.
Maybe this is how people find hidden areas.
That's really, that's really interesting. Also, it's that thing where it's, what's the most complicated thing on screen? It's absolutely the very high detail main character.
Now, it's hard to see the blocks you're supposed to jump on. There are some bits that still also look pretty complicated. There's obviously, flat surfaces way easier than curves. Yeah, cool. It sort of looks like some of the lines are different colours.
Well, yeah, because we've got textures and colours still. Well, I suppose we don't have textures because we have nothing to draw them on.
Thinking, is it showing lighting?
Yeah, there's still lighting and there's still effects and everything as well. So clear.
Help me! Help me! Oh, please, no!
From time to time.
Anywho, let's try another one.
Feed.
You know, invincibility really isn't that impressive. We've just entered invincibility. We're
You're just invincible.
Here I am tying my shoes. Come here. So yeah, that's invincibility. This is the infinite Reaver gauge, so rather than needing to charge it up, it's literally just always charged, so you're always doing sort of this extra damage when you hit them.
Yeah, you can pop off anytime you want.
This is a Penny Arcade reference or some shit. He hits them with a tube.
Admittedly, is non-penny. Why couldn't it just be? Can't it just be a cardboard tube? But yeah.
Get him!
stabbing people with tube.
Yes, like all Penny Arcade stuff, it's fucking hilarious.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we're only going for the interesting cheats. A lot of them are replenish, unlock, blah blah blah.
Does he still have a tiny cardboard? No, he has a Reaver now. He doesn't have a tiny cardboard version. That would have at least been a nice attention to detail.
I like the way he flies around and stuff. Like I'm sucking the neck there for just forever. So it's like, and he's got it in a sort of an on guard. What do you call that? Fencing style.
Yeah.
So that's a bit more interesting.
Getting a little bit of like, ooh. Oh my god, that looks so dumb.
Is that taking longer for him to get
The
there?
store had been equipped with a singular lock, requiring.
I'm
an
assuming it's
unusual
because
key.
walk animation from point to point.
Yeah. So yes, this is a bit better because, you know, this is genuinely sort of a what the heck. And yeah, I like the way it changes all of the animations and stuff as well.
But yes, he's like a weird chibi character. And yes, when he was fighting, it reminds me a little of sort of the Yoda fight, where it's like, because he's tiny, he has to kind of fling himself up and around,
Yeah.
connect in the same way.
I just like that. I think that's really funny. We don't need to see what Kain looks like with full health because we've seen it before in the actual game. We didn't achieve that with Raziel, who I think we're going to switch to now.
Yeah.
So here we are as Toon Raziel this time.
He's got such cute little feet and weird little wings and still looks really moody.
Yeah, I love his expressions actually. Okay.
He might have strange sort of hit box stuff going on, yeah.
He's really hard to control. And doesn't have half the anime. Okay.
That was cute.
Okay.
That went kind of funny. It's fine.
Right, here we can see Raziel with full TK in health as well. Because I did miss a couple of things in the main game. So, these paintings, there's two I missed, I think. And they have the same picture as the walls that crack.
Yeah.
And that a similar thing happens when you use the individual weapons. So there's one here, and there's one in the library. I'll show you the one in the library as well. So yes, here we are in the library. It's this one. So it's sort of the alternative library, not the one with the door outside.
Yeah, because there's two. I suppose, is this really a library?
Maybe. There's another one right there.
Oh, a tall one rather than a wide one.
Yeah. So why do I call this a library then? Is it the books?
There's
'Cause
no...
there's books in the other one, isn't there?
Yeah, I think the guide might have also called it an alternate library. This is like a meeting room or a dining room.
Anywho, that's where the other painting is.
Yeah.
So yes, the way we crack those paintings is the same way we crack these. We put a thing in the thing.
A seeker.
So that one's already got one. Yep.
Yeah.
And then, oh, by the way, we can consume those through the walls, which is quite fun. But let's pop another one of these in. And yes, and that shatters that. And now we can get at that inside it. Brilliant.
that didn't take long, actually.
So here we are back at the painting.
The stone is now red.
Yeah. And we just... And there we go, that's one of them.
Good old slice.
So here we are back in not the library. I think we decided it wasn't. And yes, up here is a very similar room, although it doesn't have the thing at the bottom. But we can hit any part of this and it just rips the painting off the wall. And then climb up here. And that is a book, an archive book. So maybe it's because it's not a health talisman.
You can't really make them out, what they are in there, but cool.
Okay. Let's just start here. Now this one's a funny one because we actually walk past this. If you watch the LP carefully, it's actually on camera for a brief moment. And the funny thing is that I go over here and I stand here and I look and I go, there's nothing over here. There's nothing over here.
It's
just
sparkling here. Over there, yeah.
Yeah, this is the last thing we missed in the game.
Fair enough.
It's just a health talisman. And then that's everything we missed. Yeah. The other thing was we missed a Air Reaver portal, so we'll show you that now.
Okay.
So yes, what we missed is actually doing this.
Ooh. And then you just float up on the left-hand side.
You're supposed to use these to get back across. So you can... Is this one?
I think so, yeah. The first.
Can I just jump?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like you could make it, but you did.
And then you go up this way instead and you do this. Whereas we...
Got up here and TK'd that, I think.
Yeah, we sort of went, well, this bit's disappeared.
Yeah, at the bottom you couldn't get up anymore.
And we just kind of floated from there onto here. And we sort of got round the fact that it removed the thing when you're supposed to come across and then drag this down with your enhanced TK abilities you get. So this, of course, is the second time we're at Vorador's mansion.
Yeah.
And yes, as last time, we're going to have to boot up the PS2 version of the game to get to the last couple of extras. Because they just don't exist on the PC version. Also, much like last time as well, we've put the interlaced movies that exist on the PS2 disc through a process to sort of restore them to progressive, de-interlace them, but at 60 FPS with a very, very slow but very nice de-interlacer, so hopefully you can enjoy that as well. So here we go with a remastered Soul Reaver 1 opening movie. Is this the same one as Soul Reaver 2? I think it was this on the Soul Reaver 2 disc.
I think that's the idea, yeah.
Well, we're going to play it anyway just for completeness.
Kain is deified. The clans tell tales of him. Few know the truth. He was mortal once, as were we all. However, his contempt for humanity drove him to create me and my brethren. I am Raziel, firstborn of his lieutenants. I stood with Kain and my brethren at the dawn of the Empire. I have served him a millennium. Over time, we became less human and more divine. Kain would enter the state of change and emerge with a new gift. Some years after the Master, our evolution would follow. Until I had the honor of surpassing my lord. For my transgression, I earned a new kind of reward. Agony. There was only one possible outcome. My eternal damnation. I, Raziel, was to suffer the fate of traitors and weaklings, to burn forever in the bowels of the Lake of the Dead.
Cast him in.
Tumbling, burning with white-hot fire, I plunged into the depths of the abyss. Unspeakable pain, relentless agony. Time ceased to exist. Only this torture and a deepening hatred of the hypocrisy that damned me to this hell. An eternity passed, and my torment receded, bringing me back from the precipice of madness. The descent had destroyed me, and yet I lived.
Raziel, you are worthy.
And now the Soul Reaver 2 opening.
At last. I must say I'm disappointed in your progress. I imagined you'd be here sooner. Tell me, did it trouble you to murder your brothers?
Did it trouble you when you ordered me into the abyss?
Eternity is relentless, Raziel. When I first stole into this chamber centuries ago, I did not fathom the true power of knowledge. To know the future, Raziel. To see its paths and streams tracing out into the infinite. As a man, I could never contain such forbidden truths. But each of us is so much more than we once were. Do you not feel with all your soul how we have become like gods? And as such, are we not indivisible? As long as a single one of us stands, we are legion. Our futures are predestined. Mobius foretold mine eons ago. We each play out the parts fate has written for us. Free will is an illusion.
I found the tomb of Sarafan, Kain. How could you profane a priest by turning him into a vampire?
How could I not? One must keep his friends close, Raziel, and his enemies even closer. Who better to serve me than those whose passion transcends all notions of good and evil?
The Sarafan were saviors, defending Nazgul from the corruption that we represent. My eyes are opened, Kain. I find no nobility in the unlife you rudely forced on my unwilling corpse.
You may have uncovered your past, but you know nothing of it. You think the Sarafan were noble, altruistic? Oh, don't be simple. Their agenda was the same as ours. You nearly had me, Raziel. But this is not where or how it ends. Fate promises more twists before this drama unfolds completely.
Redeemer and Destroyer, Pawn and Messiah. Welcome, time-span soul. Welcome to your destiny.
Then we can have a look at some of the other stuff. So here's Kain's Arcane Tomes. There are 10 Arcane Tomes. Arcane Tome 1 here.
This is a box art concept for the first game in the series, Blood Omen, Legacy of Kain.
Which is odd, because I don't really remember any of this. I don't remember the advertising for the first game, but apparently that was the box art.
It's so weird looking.
It doesn't look like Kain, it looks more like Raziel, weirdly.
Are those supposed to be the pillars?
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, final box art for Blood Omen Legacy of Kain, or did you say that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Well, you can say it again.
No,
I mean, I
that's
can say it
fine.
again as well. This is the final box art for Blood Omen Legacy of Kain.
Uh-huh.
Tome 2.
This is an early model sheet for Kain from Blood Omen Legacy of Kain. Look at that bud definition.
Very important. More of the same. In Tome 3. This is a map of Nosgoth from Blood Omen Legacy of Kain. You can see Dark Eden in the northeast there, the Oracle of Nosgoth. As I probably mentioned in the main LP, we did do Blood Omen as a sort of a big long set of 4 videos. However many it's long, you can find it on the channel. I just scrolled over to the... Oh, is this a different time period? Land of the Nemesis, the lake. Elevar, the doll maker. That big statue there in front of all those camps actually exists in the game. Yes, just showing you different parts of it. So that's the Willendorf city.
There's Avernus Cathedral there, yeah.
Yes, exactly. And in fact, Vorador's mansion you can just see there on the left. So these are all locations which you don't necessarily travel to in a sort of overland way like you did in Blood Omen, but in Defiance you still hit these places again. Lake of... can't quite read that.
No, it's a shame it's so zoomed out. And the Pillars of Nosgoth, obviously.
That's the most important part, I suppose, yes. Have a look at Tome 4. So I suppose this is the first Legacy of Kain game since Blood Omen Legacy of Kain that's got Kain in it, really.
Yeah,
Especially
that's
as a
sort
playable
of
character.
feels like it's about him. Because obviously at this point you'll have watched the game, and the whole point is, yes, that he becomes aware of the Elder God and so on and so on.
Yes, it makes sense that all of the Kain tomes would be about Blood Omen. Because it was his game. Tome 5 now.
Kain as he appeared in Blood Omen Legacy of Kain. Much more. No, I suppose he is green.
Well, only because there's a green light, to be fair.
Much
Still got that haughty forehead.
Yes.
Hair doesn't start at the eyebrows this time, though.
Much shorter sword.
Iron Sword, as the game would say. Arcane Tome number 6. The pillars have always been central to the Legacy of Kain story. The first game was originally named The Pillars of Nosgoth.
Ooh.
There you can see. Don't know if that's a mock-up of the title or if that's an early concept. I'm assuming it's an early concept. Early Pillars production sketch from Blood Omen Legacy of Kain. That's the DS that we talk about, that you see sort of in the top-down view in the original game, and of course it's in Soul Reaver 2 and Defiance.
Pillars of Vista concept from a distance.
That actually being a program that generated terrain, and then they bunged their Pillars of Nosgoth there in the middle of it. I actually had a copy of it many years ago.
Oh, they didn't show the bit that I was hoping they would. So this is the pillars as they appeared in Soul Reaver 1. I quite missed in the original Blood Omen that the pillars had, I suppose by today's standards, quite naff little pictures for what each of the pillars were.
Yeah, but it's quite nice to see that sort of thing now. Tome 7 here. A rare image from the deleted Assassination cinematic in Blood Omen Legacy of Kain. The human Kain here is depicted with white armor and blonde hair. And you can just see, like, it always made a big deal about the fact that you never saw who killed Ariel. And oh wait, no, that's just his assassin. Oh, never mind.
Just cut that bit.
Okay, tome number 8.
Early Kain concept art from Soul Reaver 1 looking much more divine, as he would put it, I'm sure. And yeah, his hair goes like all the way down to his eyebrows now, and his eyebrows are much more out here rather than up.
That is just how evolution works. Early Kain concept art from Soul Reaver 1, so he doesn't have any hair there at all. And for some reason, the back of him's in black and white. I'm not really sure what's going on there. But you do get to see his rather grumpy countenance there.
Okay, so you can sort of see the evolution, where they've taken the eyebrows in and have the smooth head, but it is still hair now.
That weird thing where they sort of have a complicated idea and then they simplify to work around limitations in the console and sort of combine the things and combine the features until you get something that looks more like that. Number 9. A Japanese poster for Blood Omen Legacy of Kain named Kain the Vampire in Japan.
That's cool, it's very different. Reminds me of, obviously there's like Vampire Hunter D in the other one in Japan.
Well, it doesn't remind me of Evangelion at all.
Oh, I suppose, yes.
And Arcane Tome number 10. It's a storyboard for the end sequence. So the funny thing about the game is that there's the happy-go-lucky ending and then the canonical ending, which is unusually the bad ending, where he goes, it's our job to, was it cull the tide or something like that? Or,
something evil, and then he's sitting on a throne of bones.
and does an evil laugh.
Very good. So now there's Raziel's Arcane Tomes.
You can read all these ones.
Arcane Tome.
Wait till I get there.
Arcane Tome number 1.
Wait a sec. I gotta just... Early Raziel concept sketches from the original Soul Reaver 1.
He's got no nose, but he still has a jaw.
And he still has the same hair.
The hair's integral.
That's a rather punky looking version
Yeah,
of him.
he does actually. I was just thinking that.
I know that in sort of the early sort of versions of the game Shifter, which was one of the earlier titles, the character was supposed to be far more sort of angelic.
Okay.
So I think it's going to show him sort of standing, in front of I'm not sure what that is, but his shadow obviously is very angelic.
Very cool.
Yeah. I really like it, actually.
And then probably again the last one where it's actually, this is what we'll do.
He's got his face cloth there, which is much bigger and more enveloping.
Arcane Tome 2. Raziel's dual nature. He's got more than 2 natures.
What?
Because there's like, he is the sword, he's incorporeal, he's real, he's a vampire, he's human.
Yeah, he's all about duality. Yeah.
Lots of states. Very cool though. Tome 3.
This is a concept sketch of Raziel from magazine cover that they did. Sort of showing him very flowy. It's strange that this is just on its own. I suppose it's just because this will have been stuff you wouldn't have seen otherwise.
Arcane Tome 4. Raziel image from Soul Reaver 2 team shirt.
Yeah, I quite like this because it's very...
That's cute.
What's the style called? Is it pop art or something? Something like that, anyway.
It's very comic booky, certainly, with the black shadow where you just print it.
Yeah, it looks really cool though.
Arcane Tome 5.
Early Mobius concept from Blood Omen Legacy of Kain. So once again going back to the very, very original game. Mobius's name was originally Brydenal?
Who knows? As he appeared in Blood Omen Legacy of Kain.
Mobius as he appeared in Soul Reaver 2.
He looked kind of weird.
His teeth look strange, in my opinion.
I think it's because he looks like he's got too many.
He's cool.
Arcane Tome 6. Early Ariel, or Ariel, depending on how well you know her concept sketches from Blood Omen Legacy of Kain. Ariel was originally named Adonathiel? Strange names.
But yes, the idea of her being sort of half corpse.
Yes, and she seems more mummy than sort of floaty spectral in this.
Yeah.
There we go, floaty spectral.
Floaty spectral, yeah.
Arcane Tome 7.
This is a production sketch of Vorador's mansion from Blood Omen Legacy of Kain, which I suspect that they used quite a lot of this sort of early artwork to inspire at least how things were looking in Defiance.
Yeah. Arcane Tome 8. Early Vorador concepts from Blood Omen Legacy of Kain. His name was changed to Infernum at one point, but was ultimately changed back to Vorador. He also actually looked like he had sort of almost bat wings there in the first sketch. He's got webbed arms.
He has webbing between his arms, yeah.
And then yes, I assume they went actually, no, only Raziel had wings.
And it's a line that he says in Blood Omen, I think. Just a minor pawn whose powers pale in comparison to mine. Oh yes, I am also a vampire. Your greatest flaw, my good fellow,
you've got
is
it.
that you have a soul, you have a conscience that hinders your hunt to survive. I do not have that problem. I kill for fun. Stand-up guy, Vorador. Also, if you squint, it looks like he's got a cat on his head. Less so here.
Big ears now, yeah.
And he's sort of wielding sort of flame in his hands, which I think he does in the intro movie to Blood Omen. Where he is battling with, what's he called? Malek!
Very good, very good.
I believe that's how you pronounce that.
Arcane Tome 9.
Original Mortanius sketches from Blood Omen Legacy of Kain. There he is examining the iron sword that he pulled out of Kain. There he is, looking like Skeletor.
A bit, yes, he had a very skeleton theme.
he seemed to say.
Arcane Tome 10. The Vampire Lieutenant Terrell.
Terrell!
Early 3D render.
Throw me into an abyss. There he is from is that a 3/4 perspective? Is that what you call it? I forget. Big ears, which I think is why they got the idea of making that his weakness and his final evolution to be a large-eared creature with a weird mouth.
Because that's the sort of the caricature logic where you just go like, what are the things that you then make ludicrous?
Yeah.
But that's that.
Now the making of A Legacy of Kain and Defiance. I forgot to mention, the Dark Chronicle is literally just the cutscenes from the game, so there's nothing new there. So the making of Legacy of Kain Defiance is split up into several sections, in much the same way. So let's have a look at characters, have a look at some concepts, some character concepts.
This sort of looks like stuff you'd see in box arts and manuals and
fan fiction. Yeah, so it's just Raziel and Kain being themselves. That's Mortanius. So what's he doing with his hand? Has he got a sort of a flame in it again? I like that.
Terrell and Raziel for scale.
I was about to say the same thing, yes. And Raziel for scale. Yeah, it's just showing how big he's supposed to be, because he has supposed to have devolved into the monstrous creature before you.
Big ears, as we said.
Oh, and it's showing how his mouth, strange mouth flaps work and sort of come away. He's a pretty guy. Looks almost dragon-y. So, enemy concepts. We have, is that the flesh golem thing that you fight in the... when you come back to Vorador's mansion the second time? I
Possibly,
think the sorcerers summon them.
It's one of the big ones anyway, I think, isn't it? Oh, those things that pop up from the ground.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, with the weird arms.
How does he scratch his... Never mind. Was that in the game? I mean, I like its feet. Ah, these are the vampire hunters, although one of them seems to be Gimli for some reason.
I'm thinking, is that a dwarf and an elf?
Maybe. And that's one of the big hammer-wielding brutes.
Yeah.
Although he looks doesn't look quite like he did in the game. Or maybe he does. And these are the balding monk dudes. And for some reason has had his arm removed and placed next to him. Not sure what's going on. This is just to show you how the arm works.
It's to show you how the outfit works, that it wraps around so you take the arm away.
But yes, they're wearing masks, sort of the worshippers of Hasha Geek, I suppose.
Oh, a Draga?
No, that's Skyrim.
Slewer. Same thing, really.
Which look different and better in every game. They look very big and bumbly in this one.
Oh, those priest guys. Whatever they were.
Yeah, sort of the Hilden High Priests, I suppose. It's an interesting drawing.
Tiny head.
Yeah.
Oh, and these are all of them.
Oh, sorry, it's not the Hilden. It's the
the guys
original,
who are in each of the
the original Guardians of the Pillars.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And they all had headdresses. That's one of those
like shark tentacle floaty things. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the spectral realm. I'm not sure what you'd call them.
One of them again. Yeah.
Raziel for scale. So let's have a look at the 3D characters. Character art. Got Kain. Got Kain doing an interesting look. Raziel.
Looking moody as usual.
It's strange actually how they changed his eyes between games. They kind of glowed more in the second one, I thought. I nearly said Vorador. That's Janos Audrey.
Yeah. Evil Janos.
Yes, sort of a possessed by the Hilden Janos when he's fighting you. Very easy battle. I had such problems with that, actually.
Mobius.
Mobius.
With his
Eternal
snake
game
sniff
stuff.
thing, yeah.
Yeah, the staff that sort of disables vampires. Very useful, obviously, for him. There's Mortanius with his red-toed shoes there, very famous for them. I quite like the way he sort of summons and dismisses that sort of death mask. I thought that was very cool. And he has no pupils as well. Sort of to give him an otherworldly look, I'm assuming. I quite like the sort of mercurial beard there.
Terrell.
Yes, in all his massive glory. Actually, I thought it was quite nice that they sort of gave him some character and humanity by zooming right on his face. Oh, there we go. But it's just strange that all of these alien creatures, and something I've always liked about the Legacy of Kain universe, is all these weird and wonderful monsters have just normal voices. Very Shakespearean speech.
There's the old Vorador.
With his weird chin spikes and his predilection for wavy weapons.
Also, he actually wears shoes.
Oh, so he does.
None of the other vampires do.
He's got more class. Look at him. Big ears as well. He's someone who looks completely different in every frickin' game as well. And here we have Ariel in her sort of wedding dress assemble. At least I think it's a sort of a wedding dress. But she's half rotten and has half a face. I always thought she was one of the cooler characters as well.
Yeah, I do like Ariel.
And there she is asking for a kiss.
Now the enemy art.
That guy?
Yeah, I don't think any of these really have names.
Vampire Hunter A.
Yeah, I'm sure they have asset names. The Lady Vampire Hunter.
Or Vampire Hunter B, holding the Lance of Longinus from Evangelion. There's
Alternate skin, yeah.
the Wizardy Woo one.
The big boy.
Yeah, it's your boy. Is that one of the Hilden possessed dead or vampire possessed dead? I wasn't sure which one they were supposed to be.
Yeah.
I mean, Hilden from the look of it, but
With the wings. Whereas that's just like a possessed corpse.
Raziel.
One of them from Vorador's mansion.
Just from another angle here. And that's one of the original Guardians. So that's clearly a vampire then, right?
Yeah.
Because it's
with
the original Guardian, not a Hilden. Although maybe that's the joke. Maybe the Hilden were just a subspecies of the same. You know what I mean? And that's one of the demons you fight in underneath the Avernus Cathedral.
Those guys.
Yeah,
The
I mean,
statues.
there wasn't too many of them in the game. And those are the ones you come across after you escape from underneath Avernus Cathedral. They're also in Soul Reaver 2, to be fair.
They were the guys outside the citadel.
Yeah, these guys who didn't really have enough of a backstory, but pretended to be piles of leaves.
Because they clearly look very different.
Is that another one of the sort of the Soul Stealer things? I think so. Yes, yeah. A 3D. I'm not sure what the creatures are called.
It's a shame they don't have names.
The lovely
On the
Slewer.
slides.
Yeah.
He's just out to have a good time.
Oh, this is the Seraphim?
Yeah, they were the Seraphim in the like church cathedral thing. That's all that. Environments.
Oh, there's a lot of these. Sarafan Stronghold. That's where we first come across running water and where we pull a guy off that ledge onto a spike. sort of a view of outside the Sarafan stronghold there. Just some side detail of a water outlet there. Don't know what that is.
Oh, blocked passageway.
I think it's just to give you sort of a sense of scale and presence.
Colour palette and season and lots of things.
Okay, this definitely wasn't in it. Actually, is that not from Soul Reaver 2? Like, no, not Soul Reaver 2, Soul Reaver 1, where you go into the Tomb of Sarafan.
Oh, maybe, and they're just sort of giving you the assets that they made at the very beginning of making the series. Because, yeah, that looks pretty tomb-like.
This might be underground where Kain goes. But then it shows me things like that, and I'm not sure anymore. No, that might be where,
Where you do the tutorial?
And that bridge sequence again. And another Raziel for scale thing, I think is showing. That looks like the Vampire, not the Vampire Citadel, sorry, it looks like more of the same Sarafan stronghold.
There's that big old meeting room with all the chairs.
Yeah. Is that where you fight?
You meet Mobius here as Kain,
Mobius here, yeah.
and then shimmy off on the balcony.
Oh yes, where it had the weird cloth sort of going into the centre of the room and in the ceiling.
You restored his shield and sword, etc.
It's Malik. And I think this is just sort of showing the state of the world at the time.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So next is the underworld.
Oh, so that was all supposed to be Sarafan's stronghold.
Yeah. Well, this is more storyboard-esque shots.
Yeah, you can see the Elder God's form there.
Tiny, tiny, tiny little Raziel for reference.
Yeah, and that's supposed to just be part of the Elder God, of course. I did like that big circular room at the beginning where you start. It was fantastic. There's Raziel professionally falling.
So a lot of this will be the same stuff, giving you mood and colour palette and general feel of the place.
Yeah, this is where you try to get out of the underworld at the beginning, obviously.
Eyeballs everywhere.
And then...
That's not an environment.
oh, it's an enemy.
That's an environment. Is that sort of the underworld leaching into the real world idea? Never really showed that.
No. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, is that like the distorted view?
Because I do like the differences between spiritual realm and the material. It's one of the standout things from the games. He doesn't look happy. It's strangely glowing, that one on the bottom. And there's that sort of, has arrows to depict movement.
Yeah.
As it wakes up. So was that like something which woke up and suddenly chased you?
The cemetery?
Which was very labyrinthian.
Yeah, it had like two sides and two buildings, and then you had to find a way out. And
then it turns out it was Kain's flippin' mausoleum.
Which I suppose, yes, would be fairly grand. He was of noble birth.
That's why he could reward you well. the detail in the last one there of the tombs where they come out of the walls at you.
Yeah. The colour is much more apparent in these because that feels like they were trying to get across it was sunrise. Starting a new day at the beginning of the game, etc.
Is that a spiral on the ground? Not sure. Yes, lots of broken roofs and sunlight streaming in through ceilings. I think that's the last one.
Now the pillars.
Not seen any pillars.
Well, that is a long, wide shot.
But I'm assuming then that this is the pillars and surrounding area then.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes, because that's you put a thing in the gate if you're one character, and if the other character you just missed through.
Oh, that's that like fountainy bit where we saw in the two different ages.
Yes, and there's a Raziel there for scale. I like that tree. Another Raziel for scale there, showing you how overgrown a lot of it is. Very full of life in Raziel's era.
Varador's Mansioni.
Very, very long part of the game. That's the aforementioned library. Is that just an outdoor shot?
Yeah.
Doesn't quite look how it did in the game. That's actually why I quite like watching the concept artwork sometimes, because it's just they're nice pictures, completely independently of any purpose they serve for the game.
That looks a bit more broken down. Very moody atmosphere they were going for.
A good Varador there for scale. It's a lamp.
It's a sort of cemetery mausoleum bit.
No, that's the greenhouse at the top of the hill, with Janos Audrin's tomb there at the bottom.
And all the graves, because it's a cemetery.
Yeah. But very moody and very rainy. I really like that, actually. That's a cool picture.
Are these some of the artworks from the house, maybe?
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, the blood sphere, heart pull, and soul seeker.
The three weapons that you stab the gargoyle statues with.
Telescopes, and the blade flicks out.
Silver, gold, and blue metal.
Oh, and that's where the three of them are.
Yep, and you can see them spouting water from the mouths with the blood receptacles underneath them, and Raziel for scale?
Maybe you're just a figure.
Figure for scale.
Was that the underground waterway bit that you had to get across?
Yeah, with the three platforms where you have to freeze time.
Yeah.
That's definitely a Raziel for scale.
The Vampire Citadel.
That's a Kain for...
Oh, you finally got Kain for scale, yeah.
Because those are the portals that you walk through, although they both use them. Was that in the game?
They were like power conduits or something, I think.
Okay.
I think we only really interacted with them the once.
Oh, are those the ones when you're sort of the Elder Gods pulling the floor down? I think they are.
Okay.
That's the sphere receptacle and a badly drawn figure for comparison. Oh, that looks cool. Reminds me of Whitby Abbey. As in half not there. Once again, just giving you some... Because you didn't really explore much outside of the signature locations. Because I know it's getting to the point where we're sick of open world games, but I think a more open world return of Legacy of Kain would have been good. Because in Soviet War, you wander around for ages.
Because in this one, you're very confined to indoors and insides and...
Because it's all just set pieces. There's Kain wandering through the location I do not recognise from the Vampire Citadel. That looks more like the Sarafan Stronghold to me. It's still cool though, and I do remember those lamps from the Vampire Citadel. You didn't really get to see that in the game either, so it's quite nice to see it here. I'm assuming that that's the whole, and then the mist suddenly cleared. That's one of the spirit funnels.
Yeah.
It's very remote.
Ooh, that's very Elder Goddy.
Tentacles.
And then finally, Avernus Cathedral in concepts. Lots of undergroundy bits, I assume.
Yeah, we didn't actually get to see a lot of Avernus Cathedral, other than that one main room, and then sort of the weird undergroundy sections. Okay, this is definitely Minas Tirith. No, wait, Moria. I meant Moria. This is the pit where you fight Tyrell.
Yeah.
And that's where Mortanius is, I believe. It's sort of over the pit that contains Tyrell.
Yeah. That's the cathedral
yeah, it's the main room,
font
isn't it?
bit where you put the book in.
Very red and evil looking. And that's Raziel standing outside of Avernus Cathedral in flames. Something else that you don't really get to see in the game.
Yeah, it doesn't actually establish it a lot that yes, you are there at the same time as other things are happening a lot of the time. And that was it. And then we've got some 3D renders of the same location. So here's the Sarafan. Oh, it's a little video. Quite nice looking water. This almost feels like it's someone's portfolio clip. Underworld. That's that one. Cemetery. And then the pillars. Vorador's mansion. Vampire Citadel. And Avernus Cathedral. What's next?
Legacy of Kain Defiance team. And here's the team.
Oh, okay. This is just sort of photos they took at the time.
Yeah. And that they've popped into the game. It's the test team. Team test.
Cool.
We've seen the credits.
Yeah, I was just thinking, is that just the credits?
It's just the credits.
And we've got voice sessions.
I suppose these are the best bits. Because you get to see the actual actors. Mobius gains the upper hand.
How humiliating it must be for you to come begging at my doorstep for answers. Enough wordplay. Don't threaten me, Kain. You see, I have the upper hand. How remarkable that the great Kain should succumb to the scepter's power like any common vampire. Still so arrogant after all these years, thinking you've devised some brilliant plan. You know nothing. There was a time when you might have heeded wise counsel when it was offered. Now your vanity has made you witless. You will have to learn the truth for yourself. You'll be needing this. Your strength will return after I have departed. But by then, you will have more urgent concerns than pursuing me. Perhaps, when we next meet, you will have learned a little humility.
That's it.
Yeah, that's one of the better ones, isn't it? Wow. The vampire Vorador. Reunion.
I smell no blood. Throat cut first, blood gouging, then it falls into the pit. Take it back. The sacrifice is rejected. You will know my wrath. You killed the rest, and now you have found me at last.
Tyrell?
Tyrell. Yes, that was my name then.
The others were grotesque. But this...
Yes, I am changed. I have become a god. Greater than you ever were, Raziel. You were never a god. Greater even than Kain. No! I must have blood. Bring me blood, or feel the wrath of your god. Yours. Yes, it will strengthen me against them.
What are you doing?
No more questions. No more worship. Time to run. Time to scream. Time to die.
That guy's really an asshole, isn't it? I tell you, really is a jerk.
Mortadius' redemption.
Where is the heart of darkness now? Did you destroy it?
Oh, you still don't understand, do you? You cannot make use of it as long as Kain guards it with his life.
Kain has it. It is in Kain.
Check and mate. This deed will redeem first me and then all Nosgoth. It must. This one grows weak, but we will soon have a stronger vessel. The long-awaited hour approaches. Our release is at hand.
Oh. A deadly confrontation.
Now, you will listen to me. The heart of darkness must remain undiscovered. Great harm will come of its use.
You don't know where it is, do you?
No.
You never looked for it.
It doesn't matter, Raziel. Listen to me. You must understand that every creature is bound to one predestined path. We are all shackled.
To the wheel of fate. Believe me, I know that even better than you do.
All but one.
Because of your remaking, you are the one unbound creature, the one among us all that truly has free will. You have a choice, Raziel.
Which I'm sure I must make. The pillars topple.
We sought an incorruptible vessel, and you provided one. We required the blood of our ancient enemy, and you delivered Janos Audron, having first been lured to the heart of darkness. Best of all, you murdered the Scion of Balance to get it. We've already won. Raziel, you must not allow them to carry out their plan. Kill me, and you end it now. Suicidal like the rest of them. Know your place, Raziel. The true hero plays his role and then steps aside.
That's just... The rest of that's just Rennie just talking to himself for an hour. The Fall of the Ancient God. I like this one. Yes, and continuing the theme of silliness, there's some miscellaneous outtakes one here.
My name is Raziel, his name is Kain. We are together once again.
But I will never forgive him for ripping off my wings. Never. Never.
I'll miss your wings.
Sorry. Oh, sorry. What happened was the Elder God had a colostomy. It was not under control. I said no more yogurt, Elder God.
Huh?
And more miscellaneous outtakes.
Well done, faithful servant. And now, I have an execution to see to.
Faithful servant, this. Spin on this, Mobius.
What is this place?
And one more a little different.
What is this place?
Almost exactly the same.
Why did you want Cohen dead?
Cohen? Yes, I knew him. He was Cohen. Now he calls himself Kain.
Yes.
Rejected his people.
Haven't you discovered then at last? It's the Scion of Balance.
You want the pillars to fall?
You want the pillars to fall.
I tell you, for pillars is haunted.
Just the subtle little.
Yes, real subtle. I heard a woman's voice talking and moaning, and there was no one there.
You may know that I am priest with you.
Yes, I can see the rise of your toga.
Yes. The rise of my toga.
Yes, is that pleased?
Okay, there's material reaver, spectral reaver, there's the dark reaver, night reaver, fire reaver, air reaver, water reaver, there's the earth reaver, here's spirit reaver, ornamental shield, Kain family credit, faceted old bronze howling heartstone. That was my name when I was a child. And I was stripping. Here's the ladies and gentlemen, here he is. Howling heartstone.
Right. Didn't you do the production of Hamlet at RADA?
I did, yes. That was the one where I swallowed my tonsils.
Yes.
I gave myself a tonsillectomy.
You also swallowed.
Yes, that was Othello.
Production of Othello, yes.
The enemy race, long vanished, had a champion of their own.
flaming eyes and a fiery sword. Okay. Yes, and a tiara with full-length gloves in Job. Heels. Why, he was Drag Reaver, a whole new series.
What was it that these deluded humans worship with such fervor?
That's the idea.
Was it the dreaded unspoken that Vorager had warned me about? Whatever so-called god inhabited this hideous pit, I was about to meet it. Oh, God.
Very well, then. I'll indulge you.
Very well. Hold a minute, please.
Monsieur, I actually have a very high voice. And so this becomes quite a challenge for me. I spent 7 years playing.
In a deep, gravelly voice.
And I go to conventions and the people go, what? What? Why do you sound like that?
I was thrown in by my own brethren, don't you know? I was thrown in by my own brethren. Good God, brethren, and... I'm trying to get out. I was thrown in by my own brethren.
And now you will see the true enemy. And now you will see the true enemy. And now you will see the... And now you will see the true enemy. And now you will see the true enemy.
Pick it up from your speech again. We had enough Michael for one day.
And now some Hilden outtakes.
The Hilden. The Hilden.
The lousy Hilden.
Hilden.
Hello.
Hilden. Hilden.
The Hilden.
Hilden, how?
Hilden. 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 Hey, Hilden.
Hildenleben.
Okay. Kain and Raziel outtakes.
Very well. If this will make you see reason.
Pretty damn good.
Betty Davis and Joan Crawford had nothing on us. As he says, you say that while you hold in your hand the instrument of my doom. Be still my heart.
I know him.
Aye.
I don't want to think about it. Without begging him to understand,
Right.
beg him to understand. Don't ever tell anybody I gave you that direction.
It's a paradox. It's all a paradox.
It's kind of Zen directing. Okay. Michael, I think you listen too well to me. You don't know where it is, do you? You just got a little too big.
Too big.
Oh, you don't even know where it is, do you?
Yes, I hear. And then one more time, Wheel of Fate. Gee Christ, I know. Pots. Rip my wings off, will you?
Redeemer and Destroyer. Let me try that one more time.
Just not listening. Never listens when we get the idea. Once we get it, they shut us off.
Click.
Click. That's it.
Now they're sucking the air out of it.
That's it. Oh, good. You have the big chunk. You have the big exposition.
Oh,
Thank
no.
you.
Oh,
Thank you
Christ.
for giving him the
I haven't
exposition.
seen it yet.
Well. I just waited for that page to turn.
I need a break to call my agent.
He wants to get paid by the word now.
Yeah.
And I love my line.
What does all this...
Can I have my line reduced to huh?
Maybe instead of hundred, maybe just say what?
Say what?
Say what?
Say what? Say what?
I cannot accompany you because I'm still hot. I can't talk. I have nothing else to say. And if I fail, then I have another story to tell you.
If you fail, you have to do the whole damn thing over again.
If I fail, I'm going to keep talking.
Whatever! The world can have the 15th for all I care.
Just start slipping in some. I don't know. Just small ones.
No. Oh, careful, blessings! It is the price we pay to keep the Helden banished from the land! Oh, to sustain the binding!
Michael, ease off a little bit. He's tending to get slightly bitchy with him, and we want to get off that.
You want him more masculine? Props! Okay. I want answers! Just a little bit, just a little bit.
So a little less on. It's too late. The pillars are already damned.
I see.
Michael?
Yes, sir.
Butch it up a little.
Ah, so a little stronger. Okay.
A little stronger.
Butch it up.
You see, usually I get
Michael.
There must be.
It's too late. The pillars are already damned.
Yeah, good.
That was so much.
It's a lot of line you got there. Lot of line. You got a lot of line there.
But I cannot accompany you.
Yes, but I cannot accompany you.
Which is my hope. Mm-hmm. Since I cannot accompany you, I think it's your turn to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Kain and the Elder God outtakes.
I still think Tony should be doing this in costume, but
yeah, well, I did.
It's very hard for me, but I'll try.
False God, you have reached the end, the final turn of your wheel.
So what?
Well, nothing personal. We will ring
Pretty
you
good.
up from
Not
this
bad
world.
at all for somebody who's just in the business last year.
Before I'm finished, and you're so cold.
I've only begun to seek you out. Go ahead and be afraid.
I will ring
For I shall ring you up from this world before I'm finished, and your so-called wheel of destiny will shatter upon my sword.
There's tough.
I've only begun to seek you out. So go ahead and be afraid, for I shall root you up from this world before I'm finished. And your so-called wheel of destiny will shatter upon my sword.
Like a bubble ball.
Oh, yeah.
Here now. How'd you do that? God, that's amazing.
How'd you do that?
God, got the gear.
God help us. Good heavens.
I've only begun to shake you out.
I like that now.
Is it? What's the time, Tony?
12, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Oh, good.
25 to 1, actually. Actually, it's 25 to 1. 25 before 1. You think you've defeated me, Kain? It's not possible. I exist in places you cannot find. You think you have defeated me, Kain? It is not possible. I exist in places you cannot find.
God. I'm not following. I can't follow that.
I exist in places you cannot find.
God. I think I need a bathroom break.
It's coming through, but it's a bit tinny, isn't it?
Well, you are. I sound.
No, don't you? You bastard.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if we hear you or not.
We never listen.
What the hell does that matter? I'm worried about hearing myself and Simon.
No, don't listen to me, I'm shit.
All right. I think that's the best you could do, isn't it?
With that glowing endorsement.
Glowing endorsement. This peculiar sensation was familiar to me.
That's because it's my line.
I'm running in for it.
Yeah, okay. You're warming it up. Thank you.
Thank you.
What can I do with
Right, let's go then.
Right.
I've got to alter my voice now.
I'm not funny, Tony.
You are. You don't know it. You are. You are. You don't know it. That's the point.
That's the secret.
You are funny.
It's the secret of my comedy. Is it's not funny.
Once you lost your tentacles, you've lost it all, haven't you?
I lost mine.
Yeah, I know.
Downhill, really.
I mean, it's downhill all the way there.
It is.
Can't do much worse than that. I mean, you've got 8 of them, I know, but...
Don't grow back.
They don't. They don't. No.
Oh, and back to the menu. And other than this, that's pretty much it. This is just
They're like
photos
nice
of the voice
headshots,
cast.
yeah.
This is Michael Bell, who played Raziel.
Simon Templeman, who played Kain.
Tony J, who played the Elder God.
Richard Doyle, who played Mobius.
Renee, who played Yana Sordry.
Anna Gunn, who played Ariel.
Paul Lukather?
Yeah.
Lukather? Paul Lukather, who played Vordo.
Alistair Duncan, who played Martinius.
Greg Berger, who played Terrell.
BJ Ward, additional voices.
And Phil Proctor, also additional voices.
Gordon Hunt, recording director.
Who I'm assuming is the guy you keep hearing in the booth in the movies. And then we have Chris Zimmerman Salter on the left, casting director. And that concludes the Legacy of Kain Defiance extras, or the making of Legacy of Kain Defiance, I should say.
And that is all of the bonus material.
And that also concludes this video. It also concludes this LP.
We'll see you again next time.
If you like this video, good for you.